Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Lucas. Make some noise, clap it up, get excited wherever you may be all across the globe. We are live, we're back, we're here, and we're ready to have ourselves a great Friday edition of our show. On today, we gotta talk about some Boots Ennis. We gotta talk about some Canelo with some talks about his return. Boots and some of the stuff he has said in I believe in the interview. Was very good sound bites over the course of this week that I didn't get to over this week because we're covering the stuff. And most importantly, the rumor reel surrounding the likes of Devin Haney. Apparently, this brother is getting $100 million in a deal per his dad. And now I'm all shook up because I'm confused. I'm just now seeing this and then coming across my timeline. This is news to me. I'm sorry if I'm late to this party. But if this is the case, we got to react to this and we got to have some real conversations. Is he worth it? Does he deserve the money? Who is he going to fight if he's got this type of deal on the table for him to sign? What the world is all this coming down to? As well, and so we're going to be discussing that and so much more. Also, we got Fabio Wardley and Dubois, more discussion about that fight, which is tomorrow afternoon or night if you're over there in the UK, or afternoon over here in the States. But either way, we're going to have a bunch of fun, bunch of enthralling entertainment, and a lot of great debates and action. So please, if you are here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Yes, sir, be a part of the hottest show in all of the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Also, be sure to rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts and hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube, so you never miss an episode, never miss a show, you never miss an opportunity to be a part of our humble abode right here on the Watch Report. And please be sure to do the most important thing, which is to not just like the stream if you haven't already, but to share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together and make this thing bigger, better, and stronger, and a grand affair all across the social media landscape. You're doggone right, and we can't do this without your help. Every person that you tell about our show helps to build up our community, one view, one listen, and one engaging person at a time, regardless of where you may be. Everybody's welcome right here on the Watch Report. But look, we got a whole bunch of stuff to discuss. We have a lot to cover in a small amount of time, and it's the championship rounds for the whole of this show. That's right. If you didn't know, that's what we do here. On Fridays, you control the conversation of our show, and you control the conversation of wherever we may go during this entire segment, or rather this entire podcast edition of the episode. You all, whatever questions, comments, concerns, debates, conversations, straight up inquiries, movies, sports, television, video games, topics amongst anything that you can discuss, NBA, NFL, all that, essentially whatever you want to hear me talk about, I can talk about it right here on the show, and you all control the conversation. But look, let's not waste time. We got the championship rounds to discuss, so it's time to step into the ring, and let's get this show started, shall we? Oh, yes, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah. Let's get it going. Let's get it popping. Let's ring the bell. Let's get ourselves underway with the first chats out there, like with Truth, salute to you. How are you doing? Good to see you. We thank you for being a part of our show on today. Dubois 151 or 251. Wardley is 242. That's right. Wardley and Dubois are fighting tomorrow afternoon. A battle of the powerhouses with two of some of the biggest, most dangerous punchers, most dangerous men in all of the heavyweight division. They ain't the most skilled. We ain't looking for skill. We were looking for knockdown, drag out brawls. Right now, I'm watching the weigh-in, as well as essentially them talking against each other in some banter, trying to go back and forth and get in each other's skin. I'm going to say this, and again, we're going to talk about the size, we can talk about the weight, as right now they're facing off against each other. Dubois is not nearly as short of a fighter compared to Wardley as I thought. They're almost about eye to eye with each other, maybe like a half an inch different. Wardley does look noticeably slimmer. Again, that 10-pound difference, roughly that 10-pound difference is something substantial, but that reach, as we can see Wardley holding his hand in the air, that could be a factor with that long-range right-hand bomb that we know he can land on the likes of Dingo Dubois. We're going to see how this fight's going to go. Again, I've already given my prediction. I think we will see the likes of Dubois knock out Fabio Wardley. I truly do. And we will see Dubois become a two-time heavyweight champion in the ranks of the heavyweight division today. And I say that because I just think in the pocket, I think he will be better at handling the danger in the volley, in the ferociousness of Fabio Wardley. Couple that with the fact that this man gets tired. Wardley, and I think that's going to be the thing that becomes his downfall if this fight does go late. Now, if it goes early, hey, yeah, he's got the power that he can crack. He can get Dingo Dubois out there in 5 rounds. If he lands something sharp, if he lands something clean, he can definitely do that. So we will see the fact of the matter of what this fight's going to turn into. And the biggest thing, more than anything else, how has Wardley improved since his fight with Joseph Parker? Now, improvement is going to be a theme on this show. It's kind of the word of the day today. Improvement is going to be the thing that we're going to be discussing a lot on today's show. But it's because improvement is a real thing that we need to see from a couple of fighters we're going to be talking about, specifically like Fabio Wardley. Let's be completely honest. Fabio Wardley is a man who he can't afford just to be only relying on that one-hand bomb, that right-hand straight, that incredible equalizer. The modern-day Deontay Wilder, or rather the UK version of Deontay Wilder, cannot have the same pitfalls that Deontay Wilder also had, or else we're going to be seeing the same outcome for what made Wilder such a, well, I'm not going to say flash in the pan, but of the 3 stars in the heavyweight division that ran the sport, he was at the bottom totem pole because of the fact that this brother could not get his technique together. I would love to see Wardley look better as an actual boxer. But again, hopefully we get that to actually happen. If we don't, well, we're going to see Wardley find out it's a rude awakening. There's levels to this. There is, even in amongst of just a straight up aggressive war where y'all are just going at it against each other, there's still levels to, can you really operate like you need to operate in the midst of war on a technical level that's elevated above what you've been doing right now? Because right now, the saving graces that you've been given, if they start not happening, you could be in some serious trouble. Now, the weight, that pound difference, I don't think is going to be subsequently big in terms of the effect, due to the fact we've seen Wardley face off against people that are also 245, 250. And most of the people, the knockout ratio, it's like they've been, they're both got enough to knock each other out. It ain't gonna be, oh my gosh, somebody just too big for somebody else. Nah, it ain't like that. Don't buy in too much into the weight discrepancy being the ultimate deciding factor. It's gonna be who can land clean and who can keep on trucking when that rounds come late. But we'll find out how that goes as the fight world continues to evolve and progress. And we're gonna see on Saturday exactly what the heavyweight division is gonna look like. Because understand, there's a lot of moving parts in this right now in the heavyweight world. And guess what? Again, we're going to talk about Ennis. We got Ennis. We got Canelo. We definitely going to talk about Devin Haney. We are not going to leave that behind. Trust me. We're just addressing this last thing with Dubois and Ward. There's a lot of stuff here where this fight could be indicative of who we see the likes of maybe a Moses Atama and or a Caballero, if we don't get Caballero fighting Usyk, and or a Richard Torres potentially go and fight against for a title opportunity. Because now that sect of people, specifically the Atamas and the Torres, they're starting to pop the clutch on their careers and transition into, all right, it's time to really start making a move to position myself for championships abounding in this division. Usyk, yes, reigns supreme. We understand. Fury, AJ are still around. Wilder just won. We get it. Joseph Parker just lost his title. We understand, or just lost his interim title. That now got elevated to a world championship against Wardley. We are looking at the midst of the old guard, again, leaving. New guard getting ready to come through. This new guard could be in position to now start facing off against each other sooner rather than later. With that being the case, Atama, Torres could be further in a position for a title than people may assume to be. Specifically, Moses and Tal. We could even see Agassi potentially come up across their careers as the time goes on. At this point in their tenure, working their way up. It can be sooner than we expect. It can be more plausible than we may seem. It can be more feasible than what many people may realize for the level of championship opportunity that we can see them hold. And for Dubois and Wardley, because we don't know if they'll actually get Usyk. We don't know if Wardley could, because right now it's some little bit of volume. We assume Wardley Usyk if Wardley wins, or Wardley Dubois if Dubois wins. Excuse me. Usyk Wardley if Wardley wins. Usyk Dubois if Dubois wins. We should see that next. But again, fights that are getting talked about, stuff that's getting moved around, the conversations that are being had, stuff could get a little bit muddy. Stuff get a little bit concerning. I mean, again, we're in talks right now. We get David Benavidez fighting against Usyk. If that's where Turkey Al-Sheikh actually wants, and he throws enough money at it, yeah, it could be an actual plausible thing. Genuine. Yeah, genuine. That's not a joke. That's real. That could actually happen. So you gotta be mindful. We gotta be careful. We gotta be on the lookout, because stuff may not just be all peaches and cream when it comes to watching, and more specifically, looking for these opportunities of the next era getting their shot. So if that's the case, stuff can get a little bit frenzied, to say the least. But either way, that's just my 2 cents on the Dubois situation. But let's keep on going. Let's keep on trucking with the rest of this show. Like with the biggest thing that we need to discuss at this point in time, which is money, money, money. Yes, indeed. And we got a bunch of money on the table because apparently Devin Haney is getting $100 million, if you didn't know. Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know when this came up. I don't know how this came up. I don't know when he earned this type of money. When did he become this type of cash cow? I don't remember this at all. I don't remember ever having Devin Haney as a person who was worth this much money. When have we ever? And I mean ever seen the likes of when have we ever seen the likes of Devin Haney be worth $100 million? When did this come through? And again, I'm bringing this up not because I'm just trying to throw out some arbitrary numbers on the day. We're discussing this because we are watching and genuinely being confused. Because all of a sudden we're getting Devin Haney, and more particularly his dad, talking about how he got his son a $100 million deal in boxing. Now, granted, I am just now finding out this information. This is just popping off on my timeline when I was getting ready for the show. I had no clue that this happened. Apparently, this had actually happened on the 6th, so 2 days ago. I completely missed that. I'm sorry. That is my fault entirely. I don't know how I missed this news, but apparently it might be true. If we're going by the words of Devin Haney, or rather of Bill Haney himself. And if you give me 1 second, I'll pull it up right now for you all to be able to witness and see. But it's I mean, what, when, and more particularly why? Why is he getting this type of money? This could be, now some people say, they'll remember there were rumors, Zuffa, Shakur, we're going to have a fight deal with each other. It's going to be worth a lot of money. And for them to fight on a Zuffa card, we heard that. I did not believe it. We said we would watch it and see. I'm not sure if that's actually still true. Yeah, I'm still kind of doubting if that's true. But all of a sudden, we get a bomb drop by the likes of Devin, of Bill Haney himself. And I'll pull up the tweet so you all can see it. That he's essentially saying that he got his son the bag. He got his son the money. He got his son upwards, not even upwards, straight up. He got his son a $100 million deal. I don't know how this happened. It doesn't. Where did this number come from? And again, this is a screenshot of said tweet that's been going around. New deal worth over $100 million before 30 years old. Who's your manager? I'm so confused. Can somebody fill me in? I bring this up as a topic because we got to talk about what is this man's worth? And have I been underestimating what the word Devin Haney is actually valued at as a boxer? Am I in the wrong? Am I in the wrong? I'm all for being wrong if I am wrong, but I'm so confused because I've never, in everything that we've discussed on this show, when have we ever said that the value of Devin Haney has reached these types of numbers? I'm trying to figure out when this elevation of stuff that we, mind you, we're not even seeing Tank get this level of money. We're not. Canelo is the only person I've seen to get this type of money for this type of huge deal. I don't understand. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss because when did this ever happen? When did we ever hear that Devin Haney was this valuable of a fighter? Am I missing something? Like for real, help me if you can. Am I missing something? Because I'm missing something. I mean, great day in the morning. Shoot, I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. But let me see. We got people in the chat. We got paid already off rip on our show. Matt Borgeson, we appreciate you on our stream today. Thank you so much for the 2x $2 super chats that you give it to the channel. We appreciate it so much. We applaud it and we love the support for this channel. And we want to hear what you got to say on the day. And you say, I'm telling you, my super news is going to break soon. And then the other $2 super chat. And again, we appreciate you giving alms to the Empire once again on our show. Expect it probably 5 or 6 weeks. Or expect it's probably 5 to 6 fight deal with Zuffa. Well, all of a sudden we got to buy into this potential rumor as this may be more than just a rumor. Hey, look, I'm not one to try to say that I just discredit stuff because we know we've had stuff break on here before. And we were, and I'll tell you this, we were skeptical. I was skeptical. I was absolutely skeptical as to the validity of these conversations. And you, Matt, look, you did bring it up. You were one of the biggest catalysts as to seeing this whole news break down. Maybe not the monetary value, but the potential of Zuffa, Devin Haney is actually a real thing. You were the one that broke it more than anything. And we were, and I will say, you caught some flack. There was a lot, I mean, the chat was running. I was asking questions. We were all confused. I even brought up some points I thought were pretty valid as to why that wouldn't make sense for the growth of Devin Haney when he's just reached the pinnacle. And in perception on the outside, Zuffa looked like the place, like with Ja, like with Hitchens, that you kind of lose momentum that you garnered, especially if you were a champion. And I did not want Devin Haney to get stripped of the power to be the man because he had not just beaten the man at 147, but had the gold to potentially set up a fight with him and Devin Haney. Or excuse me, to potentially set up a fight with him and Ryan Garcia. I didn't know if that would be in jeopardy if he did go over there to Zuffa. So I was like, I didn't want Devin Haney to potentially quell his power. But if they're paying him $100 million, shoot, maybe this news about Zuffa may not be too far-fetched. Because they have been seen overpaying people, overpaying fighters, overpaying the level of competition, just like they did with the likes of Conor Ben's paying $50 million. Now, granted, it looks like that deal wasn't just a one-fight deal, but a multi-fight deal. But if that's the case, and they lied about what the contract actually was, and that's a whole other problem in and of itself as to why that is an issue. But still, digressing from that point, they'll pay big money to try to get these types of names. And with Haney, yeah, they are about business. They are. They don't duck smoke. Don't get me wrong, but they are about getting their change, getting their coin. And if you can get $100 million off rip, signing on the dotted line, not to mention what the fights could be on the back end after pay-per-views with ticket sales and all that stuff. If this is real and Zuffa's actually doing this, that's a big time play. That's a really big time play. Now I want to ask this, or rather pose this question, because this could get concerning. What if Devin Haney runs into the same pitfalls that we get with Jai Apataya? What if? Because we already talked about with Jai and Benavidez, the whole side of the street situation. It's not the fighters, it's the promotions that are having a lot of warring of words against each other. The higher ups, the people that are cutting the checks, are the ones that don't like the other people that are cutting the other checks for the other guys. Will or could this potentially backfire? And on top of that, with the fact that you're saying you expect it to be a 5 to 6 fight deal, we even brought up when we were having this conversation, and I think even Greg Hatchie, who's another prominent boxing analyst slash trainer, a commentator slash trainer, I think he does both. But even he was saying that you brought up, or somebody in chat when we were having this conversation brought up, Devin Haney signs 2 or 3 fight deals, and then he dips, and then he moves on, and then he goes and flows out. I just, to have it 5 to 6 for a fighter that we have capitulated. This is a man that does not want to stay locked down normally, because it's 2 fights, 3 fights, and then boom, signing a new deal with somebody else, not getting roped concretely behind a promotion generally, at least especially when he's become the star that he's become now. So I although it's $100 million, so can you blame him if he does say, yeah, I'll stick down and I'll stay right here and fight on Zuffa? So I never thought I'd actually have to take this seriously, but I have to take this seriously. This could be a real thing, and unless it's Turkey Al Sheikh paying $100 million for a 5-fight deal, and if it's not Zuffa, unless it's Turkey Al Sheikh is paying this much money, and the 5 fights are going to be, we're going to get you Tank, we're going to get you Shakur, we're going to get you the rematch of Ryan Garcia, we're going to have you move up and fight Boots, and then also you're going to fight at 154 to fight Fundor. Unless it's that, because knowing Turkey, that's probably what he would do. It could be like that. It could get like that. He could put him through the ringer for that type of fight, or for that type of money. But if it ain't him, it has to be Zuffa. Because that's the only player in the game that would overpay this type of fight revenue for a fighter who has had a lot of questions about whether or not he is worth a uber valuable commodity of money. And be clear, I don't say that in a negative way. I say this because that's the reality. We have been, one of the biggest things about this deal, if this is the real thing, if this is Zuffa that is upping this type of money, that would be an egregious overpay. Even though it's one of the bigger names in the sport, that would be one of the most preposterous overpaying of fighters that we had seen. Legitimate. Forget Conor Ben. That would blow about any deal out the water. I mean, that would shake up the market for everybody. Abdullah Mesa could ask for a whole bunch of money. Keyshawn Davis could start throwing his weight around and say, hey, brother, the ceiling done got raised. Conor Ben got $15 million. That's already changing people's minds as to what a fighter is worth in this current landscape of market. I mean, you got to understand, this is like in the NBA when you got a star who is a good player. Don't get me wrong. This would be like if a aging Paul George Well, no, that's a little bit of a bad, that's a little bit of a bad comparison. This would be like, no, actually, that's a good comparison. This would be like if an aging Paul George got himself a $150 million, no, I'm sorry, $240 million deal, the same amount of money as Jaylen Brown, or similar to Jason Tatum type of revenue contract, Jalen Brunson level NBA contract for superstars. And this is a buddy who's maybe 3 to 4 years out the league from potentially saying, I'm calling it a career. Though he just returned to Philadelphia. And they're currently in the playoffs right now. But still, that would be a steep overpay. That would reset the market for guards across, or small forwards, across the league. That would reset the entire landscape of guards and forwards across the league of what they can demand and ask for. And all of a sudden, people that don't deserve a certain amount of money are getting a egregious amount of money for a level of production that is not worth that revenue. Would Zuffa even make their money back from that contract, paying him that much? Yeah, I don't doubt they have the money to throw around. No issue there. It's just a question of, but okay, it's an investment that's going to be worth it. This is still a business model. We want fighters to get their paper, and I'm glad that Haney's getting their paper. But also on the flip side, Zuffa's trying to last. And you already paid somebody who's not even a top 20 fighter $15 million. Now you paying Devin Haney, who is one of the 10 best fighters in the world, but is not on the level, in my opinion, of this big of a deal. And with the biggest concern is Devin Haney is not entertaining to the populace. You need two people to tango to make a huge mega fight with any fighter. I completely understand. But with Devin Haney specifically, the biggest thing that he got was with Ryan Garcia, revenue-wise. And big star, understandable. But beyond that, he's never come close to those level of numbers. Now, you can say the same thing for Tank. Tank has never had a fight as big as the fight that he had with Ryan Garcia. No question about it. Big star, they combine, they make something great. However, what's the flip side of that equation? He's been able to still make big bank by his own metrics of name. That's not Devin Haney. And what 6 fights are you going to be able to get with the already seen struggles of big-time champions, prominent stars and superstars, and promoters saying, we don't care about the Zuffa title or the Zuffa brand. You got to come back over here to make stuff shake. What we heard Benavidez say about the Jai Apatai situation, that it wasn't the fighter, it was the promotion that is the problem. That is not just a one sentiment issue, or rather a sentiment only held by David Benavidez. A litany of boxers and promoters all feel this same way. You got to come over here. This ain't that type of game where we're bending the knee proverbially to what you want to do, where you go. You got to come where we are. We are the big players. We are the big dogs. We don't bow to that system, especially with a system that a lot of people don't trust. So like I said, there's a lot of unknowns. It's a lot of speculation. This tweet has gotten a lot of buzz, and it should. And mind you, I'm just now learning about this. So I'm asking a lot of these questions on the fly, but it's just, there's a lot of question marks about this whole situation. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure exactly how this, I don't know how smart this is. Because I think this is a steep overpay, if it is Zuffa that's paying it. But let me see, Fight Buzz TV, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our show. Welcome to the channel with us on today. And we're so happy that you joined in on our live stream commentary. Welch the Great tuning in. Brother Preach, I'm listening. Hey, man, look, we love that you're here. We appreciate you on our live stream. Keep on liking, keep on sharing, keep on going through and telling people about the show. And we're going to keep on entertaining with the globe, with you all around the globe, by giving you the best quality content possible, at least the best of my ability. Anyway, and if you want to keep on supporting the channel, hey, Cash App, PayPal, links down below, as well as Super Chat, Super Gifts, and all the other things under the sun. If you want to support, it would mean the world to me. But look, man, this is a monumental thing, because now we got to ask, who are these other fights going to be if it is with Zuffa? And if it's not with Zuffa, would it be straight up with DAZN? Would it be straight up with DAZN? Would it be that DAZN is now in position to where, with all the players under their umbrella, Devin Haney can be a hub for a lot of the big fights that people have been asking for, that we have just been waiting on getting. And maybe it's like, hey, we do this, I'll work, you sign me here, and I can go and I can get everybody under the sun. Potentially, it could work like that. But I've never thought that he was worth this type of money. I never dreamed that he would make this type of money in terms of this for one deal. Especially when, and again, this isn't hate. We just saw what Inoue did. We just seen what Benavidez has gotten himself up to. Usyk and them still running the division. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, two of the biggest stars, finally getting on with each other. A lot of moving and shaking amongst the biggest of names at this point in time. And the only buzz that's been around Devin Haney has been, we want the fight with Ryan Garcia. That's been the biggest litany of discourse surrounding him. More than just his career as a whole, that one fight is the fight that everybody is clamoring for. And with that just being the only saving grace in terms of the anticipation, that's why I question whether or not, what if this deal is real, is it going to be valuable? Is it going to be worth it for whoever is giving it to him, if this is real, that he's getting it in the first place? Because return on investment is the real thing. It ain't just housing lingo. It ain't just market value talk. When you're trying to buy stocks or you're trying to invest in companies or businesses or things across the land to make money on itself. It ain't just that. It ain't like buying a house and it ain't just for buying a house where you're trying to make sure you can sell it potentially at a higher cost after a couple number of years. This type of return on investment, this can put a company under. This can put a new founding company who just got their feet into the waters of boxing. This could turn them into, this could sink them if that return doesn't come back. Because this ain't a Tank. This ain't a Ryan. This isn't a watched for star in the vein of people want to take time out to go and pay money to watch him. He is a star, and he is one of the best in the world. And people do pay money, but it ain't $100 million worth. It's. If this is real, it would have to be him versus Shakur has got to be locked in if that's the case. It would have to be. It would have to be. It would have to be. If this is real, then him versus Shakur has to be a done deal. This has to be a part. There's no way we don't get at least 3 of the biggest names that we could get surrounding Devin Haney. If this is real, we would. It must be locked down. Ryan's fighting Haney next. Or Ryan's fight, Tank is moving up to 147. Or they're agreeing to a catchweight. Or Haney and Shakur talking about all the catchweight talk. They're gonna do it. It's happening. That's the only thing. If it ain't that, I'm failing to see the logic. I'm failing to see the logic, especially if it's going to be that we have Haney, if it is Zuffa, fighting under Zuffa's stable and fighting with their collection of fighters, which is not really that robust at all. The biggest names that they signed were the names that we named: Apataya, Conor Ben, and now, hypothetically, Zuffa. Again, I say hypothetically because they haven't come out and said blatantly, yeah, this is happening. But Matt Borgeson inferred this weeks ago. And now we're like, oh, okay, with this news that Bill's saying, there could be some real validity to this. But there's not a big stable in Zuffa right now, is there? There's not a huge amalgamation of talent in Zuffa, is there? There's not a preposterous stock of matchups to matchups that you can see Zuffa make that can get people to want to tune in, buy Paramount, buy subscription deals for Zuffa specifically to help headline the likes of Netflix with Haney as the main card within their stable. I don't know. Like, unless no, granted, if I'm crazy, please let me know. Let me know. If I'm the one that's insane for thinking the way that I'm thinking, please let me know. Enlighten me. Show me where I'm missing the productiveness of said conversation. Show me where I'm missing the bigger picture of the moment when it comes to watching Devin Haney or watching him on Zuffa, or the logic of said signing. Because I would love to hear if this is the case. Because at this point, and like I said, we're gonna move on. We're gonna go and change. We're not gonna stick too much into this. We got other stuff that we need to talk about on the show. Like with you, we just got some news with likes of Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Apparently that fight's actually happening. We're gonna be discussing that. But it's just, I'm just completely at a loss because I never thought I would ever see that attachment of money to Devin Haney based on his own name and merit and reputation. I never thought he would touch this type of guaranteed deal that takes place and you getting a bag equal to some of the biggest in the sport as faces of the sport, like a Canelo-esque bag. I'm shocked. Literally, I'm actively at a loss for words, and it's shocking. It's shocking me. But even still, we gonna have more time to discuss this as time goes on throughout the whole of this show, because it's a lot to delve into. But we have to continue on with other topics of discussion, like with the likes of Boots Ennis in the world of boxing. Yes, indeed. We gotta talk about Boots. We gotta have some conversations surrounding him and the globe of his essentially ethos in boxing. He has some very good sound bites involving him. I think it was with Ring Chaps, and he had some interesting conversations about what's the next biggest fight for him in his career. And apparently it's not Virgil Ortiz. That's the biggest fight that he can make right now. If you don't believe me, I will let him tell you for himself as you transition over into the world of picture for your viewing and listening pleasure right over here. So I'll let it play, and I'll let you see and hear what Boots had to say on the matter as to why Sebastian Fundora is the biggest test that he can make right now in his career.
I need somebody that's going be, I guess, apparently, I guess I'm the bad guy now, but I need somebody that I have a rival with.
So according to the names right now, you got Fundora, he's a unified champion, right? He got a couple of belts. But Virgil Ortiz, he doesn't have a belt, but he has a name. Which one do you think would be a bigger fight?
Between who?
You and one of them. Virgil or Fundora.
I feel like that kind of like even out. Because Fundora got the belt, but Virgil kind of like got somewhat of a name. But I feel like, then again, I don't know. I would say Fundora probably the bigger fight, only because he had created character. People, he 6'5", 6'6".
He just beat Thurman.
Okay.
Talk to me about that. Come on.
Yo, I need somebody that's going.
Yeah.
So I wish I hadn't cut off the clip because I wanted to hear what he was going to say about Keith Thurman. But regardless of which, he says in his own words that he doesn't think that Ortiz is the biggest fight he can make now, and that in fact Fundora is the fight that's going to be the real make or break moment. Now stuff has started to shift. Oh my. That is a stark difference from what we were saying previously when it came to the biggest fight that could be made at that point in time was Virgil Ortiz. That's what we were assuming. That's how we were talking. That's cool because the position in said division, even without a belt, with them stepping into the ring, the amount of buzz that was surrounding that fight, I was like, oh, that's the one to make. But to Boots' point, the spectacle of Fundora, especially after Thurman, has changed the scales of power for a lot of people. A lot of people. Even though Thurman was an old fighter, even though Thurman is not the same prime Thurman that used to be in the boxing world and that we had at 147, it's not the same level of boxer. No issue there. We are all for the reality of the situation. But that doesn't change that when we're looking at when we're looking at Boots, especially with his upcoming fight with Zayas, though the talent level, we think Ortiz will be better. The grandeur of athletic freak versus athletic freak would get people really invested, especially when they go back and they see, hey, this brother really does he wants to hurt you. We're talking about Fundora, who he will put you in the dirt when it comes to trying to put some damage on you. This man is a destructive force. He's a burning building. That's why he's called a towering inferno. That's why he's called a towering inferno. This brother legit is too hot to handle. And it's the size of a skyscraper for most of people in the world of boxing. He's preposterous. He's a great character, like you said. He's a buddy that you were fighting for in fight night. 6'7", 88-inch reach. And now you going out and you got a straight right hand that can knock you out in one punch. I hated that. I despise the fact that you couldn't get away from that right hand like you were supposed to. It's a very fun boxing game, but my gosh, man, some of the mechanics of that game was broken as can be. Sliding left and right like you on skates. But ridiculous. Punch animations look good though. But that's a whole other conversation. And that versus Undisputed. Either way, it grabs the attention of the public. And it makes that fight. How in the world can Boots topple that giant of a man to take his title? Because this ain't just a spectacle. This is a spectacle that's got some real brass on him. He's got some real credentials to him. He's a legit world champion. He's regarded right now as the king of this division, as the leading man to rule this whole world of 154. We're not saying he's the best, but we're saying he's the man that controls the environment of what boxing sees right now. He's in that position. He's in that fixture of the deepest division in boxing, Murderer's Row, where everybody is watching and waiting and looking and wanting to see the preposterous nature of this whole affair. How in the world can Boots, with all his athletic ability, with all of his Roy Jones-esque type of talent, with all of his grandeur, and all of his uniqueness as a boxer, how can he beat that? Oh, it draws people in. Oh, it makes people look closer. And the conversation of if he does beat him, if he does knock out Sebastian Fundora, we know the skill set of Sebastian. We understand. I think that we see Boots as a better fighter. But if we see him beat him and knock him out, what that does for Boots' trajectory, his career, well, it answers a whole bunch of questions. It validates what Boots is and the questions surrounding about whether or not he should. Oh gosh, I had the streaming. Now my bad, my apologies. I thought I still had the video up. I thought I still had the video up on this thing. My bad, but it validates a lot of Boots' concerns, questions. What he is when it comes to, do you belong really as the elite at 154? Are your skills really that good when it comes to boxing in this division? Not against Lima, but against one of the three biggest names. Are you now going to consistently take on these top names? We've been waiting for you to take on the likes of Fundora, the likes of Bochuk, the likes of Ortiz, and these top guys up here. So now you're not wasting time anymore. And if you do it, if you get it done, if you are able to fight and win, all of a sudden, that changes a big portion of the conversation surrounding the likes of Boots. Pound for pound conversations all of a sudden come into play. For a lot of people, they'll put in, we got people right now already putting Boots in pound for pound. We got people right now that are already putting Boots in that situation or in that position. Pound for pound level fighter, pound for pound level star. He's already top 10. He's already top 8. He's already top 5 for some people. Now that's ridiculous. He shouldn't be top 5. On nobody's list, it should be top 5. I don't think it should be on the top 10 yet until he beats Saez. And again, that's just to get him in the door, let alone to usurp people in said top 10. But that's to get him in the conversation of, yeah, he should be seen as a top 10 level fighter. And then from here on out, we'll probably see the better stamping of where that position is. So let's get past Saez first, if he can. But if he does, great. But then Fundora, as the next rung on this ladder, if this is the fight that we get next, especially because we've seen that Ortiz fight look like it kind of fell dead in the water. This would be so ridiculous for all the right reasons. For all the right reasons. And it's, mind you, what did we talk about yesterday? The belt is the difference maker. The belt, he's got a title. While we still don't like, while we have Shakur saying that, I don't really know, the titles and undisputed stuff like that, it doesn't mean nearly as much. That's the differentiating factor in a big time affair versus a mundane situation. For Boots, it's still for the majority of the boxing public, the belt still carries a weight that cannot be denied, which is why that fight looks to be something that, especially now, may have overtaken in Boots' mind. This is the bigger fight to make. And if that's the case, then this could be the fight that we see him get next. It could. It could. This could be the fight that we see him get next. We could get Boots versus Fundora next. We could get we can get it. And if we do get it next, I mean, who wouldn't be down for that? Who wouldn't want to see that? Who wouldn't want to have that spectacle? Size versus speed. Power versus athleticism. A heavyweight fighting at 154 versus a fighter that can fight at up to 175 potentially if his body really wanted to push it. How is he going to knock down this building? How's he going to topple this tree? Where's the windows that are going to be broken? All this. And if he knocks him out, even better. So there's some logic behind it. It isn't just, oh, Ortiz ain't there, so now Fundora's got to be the guy. No. Where he's coming from is, even without Ortiz, what this fight can do for Boots could be on especially for casual fans, it can be a shocking spectacle in the similar way that we saw Benavidez and Zurdo be. Now, the preposterous nature of Benavidez and Zurdo is a little bit different. But how that fight, especially with the amount of I mean, blood and guts on one side of the spectrum that Benavidez put on Zerto, how quickly that spread like wildfire for people that didn't even know who the world Benavidez was. All of a sudden, we're saying, who is this guy? His name was on everybody's mind. To this day, it's still on everybody's mind. We're at the end of the week and people are still talking about that performance, even if they don't know who's the man that he fought. This can act like that same firecracker starter for Boots. This fight. Because the absurdity of it all, with the title on the line, could very well open up a whole litany of doors for Boots Ennis, in a similar way that a fight for the hardcore fans, a fight with Ortiz would have done. So there's some logic behind it. I get why he says it. I still feel that the Ortiz fight is bigger, be clear. But I understand what he's saying. I do understand what he's saying. I do. I can see, I can follow the logic. Hence why I want to see that fight. I want to see it. I'll tell you what, I want to see that tomorrow. If I can get it tomorrow, I'd love that. I'd love that. I would love to see it. But either way, we still got more stuff that we can discuss on our show. Don't forget, we're still in the championship rounds. You all control the whole of this conversation for whatever we want to discuss on today's show. Again, we got Devin Haney's $100 million deal that we've already discussed, and we can talk about more. We're talking about Boots Ennis and how he says Ortiz isn't the biggest fight that he can make, and now with Sebastian Fundora is the biggest fight on the table that can propel his career. We can talk more about that on this show if you so choose. We got a litany of still more topics and discussion. We got Canelo Alvarez that we're going to be talking about on today, with him in his return to the ring, and more specifically, his propensity to still be a threat at this division. All of a sudden, Jaime Munguia, after beating the likes of Resendez, looks 10 times better than we've ever seen him look in that division. Still further and further looks more dangerous than we had seen in a mighty long time, when previously Canelo had run this division to the ground by beating everybody that was notable, which he did to become undisputed champion. But now the question lies on Canelo as to, once again, what can he bring to the table? And I think when we talked about how exactly Canelo can improve, can come back, can look to be better, can turn his ability, turn his newfound stage in physical prowess back into a dominant force like we had seen previously, I think I found the answer as to what needs to happen. I really do. Because I don't think it's a retooling of Canelo's got to do something different. I think it's a fact that Canelo needs to go back to what he used to do. He needs to go back to his roots. Go back to the parts of his game, and to some degree regress into a fighter that he used to be because of what he let go in his newfound style. And what that is, I'm going to show you right here as we transition over into another clip in picture-in-picture and get you some insight into, I think this is what Canelo needs to be like to retain and reclaim his spot at the top of the mountain when it comes to the championship levels of boxing. That, trying to make sure y'all can see it, that is what I would love to see Canelo come back to. Because that's the Canelo that we lost over the years. And to some degree we can say yes because of age, but also I think a little bit because of complacency. Because I think, not to that same blazing degree, because I believe that's an old footage of Canelo on the pads. But he can do something akin to that even now. I would think it's just like he let that part of his game go. And he needs to regress and apply the combination punching back into his ability to fight. That's the part, for me, that's the problem I have watching. That's the problem I have when I'm seeing him. But let me see your conversations and thoughts. Yo, Ramon Vasquez, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our live stream today. Thank you so much for tuning into our show and being a part of our community. Absolutely salute to you. What's up to you? MS also, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our live stream. Welcome to the show. Leave a like since you're here. I think we had like 22 likes on the last show. Let's see if we can beat that record today. Absolutely. Everybody leave a like on the stream and keep on commenting your thoughts and opinions. It's still the championship rounds, and you all control the whole of this show for what we talk about on today. But you say money changes fighters. Once they make big numbers, they become less hungry in the ring. And to some degree, well, not even to some degree, we've seen that countless times before with fighters in the past. We get it. It's happened. And even crazy enough, with Canelo, the discipline was always there. But there was, as he got to the later stages of 168, there was a clear-cut position of, hey man, something shifted. Something's waned. Something isn't the same. And for years we were saying it was because of his age. Understandable. But it's had like 70 plus fights. The brother's been The brother's been in this game for almost 20 years. We get it. He's been one of the most dominant forces in the sport. No question. One of the faces, undeniably. But we always attributed there's been a decline, and there has been. But even beyond the decline, there was something else. I just couldn't put my finger on it. But I think beyond just the age, the brother just let a part of his game go. He let a part of his game go. The hand speed, the combinations, the ability to work when you close the distance in more than just power punching manner. Because we had seen it. We saw it against Gennady Golovkin. We saw it in flurries. It wasn't a lot. We saw it a little bit in the fights with Jaime Munguia. We saw it in the fights with Jaime Munguia. We saw it somewhat in the fights with John Ryder. When he was dominant, before John Ryder started actually making a fight out of it in the second half of the fight, we saw Canelo using some of that in that fight. But he let it go. I don't know why. I don't understand. But the biggest thing about it, that one-punch style, I'm saying he can bite him in the butt in this era of 168 with this division that's coming in front of him. If he got back to that, though, I'd be even more confident in his ability to still be the same Canelo that has ruled this division when it comes time to face off against the Shirazes, the Munguias, who's improved drastically again. Anybody, the Carlos Adamezes, the Iglesiases, these types of fighters, it would do my heart so good to have that level of confidence. But if he looked like that, or carried that semblance of former ability to really put his combinations together and let his hands go, not just trying to rely on power alone, but having his speed, which it is still there, be one of the driving forces in his fighting style, I think he could be better. At least to me, I think he could be a better off-level fighter. But again, only time will tell. Only time will tell whether or not that will actually take place. Or not. We still got more people in the chat. I'm about to read your responses here. Let me pull it up right now as we'll let the clips play on the side. Where's it? Canelo was booed out of the Benavidez fight. No, he was. He was booed. He watched Jaime Munguia, and then he got out the ring before even Benavidez got to fight Zurdo Ramirez. Probably for good reason, because he knew he was going to get called out. So it wasn't a great look. Hopefully it wasn't a family. If it wasn't for a family emergency or something like that, people gonna say that it was a bad look. Canelo has never fought like he does on the mitts. Well, see, I'm not saying, like I said, the only people that can fight like they do on the mitts is Inoue, Benavidez, and Bam. That's it. To fight like they do on the mitts, Benavidez, Bam, Inoue, I'll add Usyk there as well. Those are the only ones that can fight like they do in the gym, legit in the gym, and use all that combination punching in the ring. I get that. I'm not saying he's going to look like this or apply this type of game, but you remember what he looked like at the early days of 160. You remember how he looked like against Gennady Golovkin. You remember when power wasn't the only aspect to his game. You remember when the one-shot punching body snatcher wasn't the biggest thing that Canelo had in his arsenal. We all do. Where is this reliance on the straight-up phenomenal hand speed? Because Canelo does have phenomenal hand speed. He does. I don't know why we've gotten so used to what we know about Canelo, which again is rightfully so, because of what he turned into. Heavy puncher, catch and shoot, one-hitter quitter, hook to the body, walk you down, hook to the body. That's what he does. Doesn't use his feet a whole bunch. He's a plotter that walks forward, stalk and walk. He's still got good head movement. He can get out the way of shots, turn away from shots. He still has all of that. But don't change the issue. He got away from this at a point in time in his career where he didn't even need to get away from it, but he did. I'm not saying he's got to look like what he looks like on the padwood, because again, I believe this is old footage. This ain't modern. Now, if this is what he's looking like now, this is a different conversation. If this is recent training footage, we got ourselves a different conversation. All of a sudden, this division better watch out. This is scary. If this Canelo is real, and this isn't old, but this is actually new, yeah, run that fight with Terrence Crawford back. Run it back. If this is new, run it back. If what we're seeing right now is new footage, run it back. Absolutely. Oh, I want to see this Canelo against Terrence Crawford. Now Crawford, you got business to handle. If that's the case, because you ain't beat potentially the best version of this is what he's looking like now. But I believe this is old training footage. But I'm saying this Canelo is a Canelo that didn't need to leave. But it's a Canelo that left, even in the new aging body of Canelo Alvarez. And I'm not saying he's going to work like the pads all the time. No. But I'm saying what we saw with Munguia, we could see with other fighters. That's the problem. You can add this back still because you still have that speed. You do. It's not a joke. You really do. It's just, oh my gosh, man. It's more than just he's old. It was a negated part of his game that now he wants to add back, sure. But, or rather, excuse me, he could add it back. Let me rephrase that. But this is why I say teaching an old dog new tricks is going to be a problem. More importantly, getting an old dog to do a trick that he stopped doing ain't easy. Because even us saying that he can get back to this, the ability of him to actually commit to doing the work to get back to a semblance, not 100% of this, but just a semblance of this in his game, may not actually be able to happen. Because he's too stuck in his ways currently as a fighter. That can legitimately be a problem. But let me see, we still got more people in the chat that we want to have your conversation about. Like, yo, Justin, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see. Salute to you. We appreciate you on our live stream today, and we can't wait to hear what you had to say. Canelo has a way better resume than any pound-for-pound fighter right now. Well, yeah, because of the elongated nature of his career, absolutely. That's a testament. He's in pound for pound right now because of that legacy that he's already made with 70 plus fights. No question about that. He is 4 years old. He is old 4 years past his prime. Let him finish his career in peace. We're not jumping on Canelo saying you're washed. That's not what we're doing. I use the videos of an older Canelo to say, once you got solidified at 168, you really took the hand speed out of your game. And even with the declining physical ability, you can still, at this point, without changing, be the best 168 pounder. You can still be the best super middleweight in the world. Again, you can. But it's just the competition is really getting stiff with a lot of people coming into this division and people changing and getting better in this division than what they were when you fought him the first time, like Jaime Munguia. Because of that, you may not just be able to be the same force as the same fighter, and you may need to go back and add the speed element, the hand speed after you close somebody in, instead of just a one-hitter quitter and letting somebody get off the ropes. We're not saying fight like you do on the mitts, but we're saying use that same mitt speed and go back to do the combination that we saw you doing when you were teaching Jaime Munguia a lesson as a student master type situation, which he already admitted. You can do that against other opponents if you didn't just choose to be content with just big shot, big hook, and then boom, we're walking again. Ooh, we doing all this stuff, up, we stopping, and then we coming through, posing forward, then moving back. Hook, do the dance all over again. You can be better. You can be more than that, than a one-punch hitter. And if you added that back, you could be an even bigger threat and elevate yourself up from where people see you now because of your age. And I could have more confidence that you could beat everybody in this division. That's all I'm saying. Get back to what you used to do, or add a little bit to what you used to do. Let me see. That Canelo beats Benavidez. That's way better chance at 168. With Canelo fighting like that, you're doggone right there was an opportunity we wanted to see that Canelo versus that Benavidez. That's why we were saying fight him when he was there. Because when you waited him out, he just got better and you kept on losing aspects willingly of your game. Not just because of age, because of you. You could have, like that Benavidez versus that Canelo, would have been a barn burner of a fight. Because Canelo did have the speed. At that point in time, he'd be like, oh, shoot. All right, it ain't just Benavidez that's going to be popping shots real quick. That's why we're saying Benavidez and Canelo was such a highly contested 50-50 affair. But then you just kept on letting that side of your game go. And becoming the more demonstrative puncher, sure. But what you sacrificed, now it may bite you in the butt. Because you could have kept that hand speed, at least, even if it's in a lesser degree. You could have kept that volley of shots that you used to have access to, even to this day in your career. But you let it forego for so long, you may not be able to get back to that moment. But if you did, you would be even bigger of a threat at this current landscape in the division where everybody else is better. You really could. Let me see. He needs to add a lot of things, but I don't think he still can. He slowed down big time last couple of years. That's why he fought Crawford. He thought it was easy work. He just misjudged. Yeah. And again, the feet probably won't come back to him. But he did a lot of right stuff in that fight with Terrence Crawford that he hadn't done in a multiplicity of years. It was just Crawford's just that good of a fighter. But we've seen if he does lock in, he can get back to doing stuff that he used to do. That's all I'm saying. Keep that same adage. Crazy enough, regress. Because if you regress for Canelo, you're adding things back to your game that you took out in your modern day style. That's all I'm saying. And at least give it a shot and see how it goes. Let me see. Canelo will have to fight Munguia and Andy to beat Benavidez. At the same time, he gonna have to train with them both in the ring, and both of them gonna have to throw shots at him to get a feel of what it's like to fight Benavidez. And look, it's gonna take that type of superhuman level training for anybody to beat David Benavidez right now, not just Canelo, for anybody. Because there's no one person can equate his style of offense by themselves. You got to band together, and you got to put some stuff together, because that's the only way. That's the only way you can even try to replicate what Benavidez brings to the table. But again, this isn't about Benavidez. It's about Canelo at this division. Forget moving up to 175 or catch weight. Forget that. This is strictly about Canelo now. You got him, Billy, that you got to deal with. You have Munguia, who is looking better than he's ever looked in his entire career. All of a sudden, the stuff that he's worked on in the gym with you actually works for him. He put it together. He put it together flawlessly. He's a better, but that Munguia could have given you a real test if you had fought against him. When you did fight against him 2 years ago at 168. Shiraz, who's already been a threat, 6'2", same dimensions as the likes of Benavidez, can cut like a scythe and can throw some voluminous shots in his own right. He's not, again, I think his hand speed is comparable, maybe slightly slower than Canelo, but that reach makes up for it. And the slicing hooks can cut through your guard. You got some danger there. Adames can fight like a Joe Frazier, move with his head while coming forward, getting out the way of shots, hooking you, pressuring you, taking it to you. A better technical fighter than the likes of Billy, but has the same aggression or similar aggression that he wants to apply to his game. Martinez, training from Bowman, has the literal blueprint of how to beat Canelo in his back pocket because his trainer did it. And what he is as a boxer can give you some real problems, can give you some real trouble. You got all these lists of names. It's a top-heavy division, but all of a sudden that top-heavy division, especially with Munguia's last performance, just got validated in a way that it hadn't been before. There's some real concern now that Canelo may not be at the top if he does not regress to the version of Canelo that was applying not just power, but speed in a more blended style to his game. Working on the ropes and throwing more than just one shot. Keeping the opponent busy with his guard with 2 or 3 punches rather than just one hit and then you wait for a shot to come back. Because he still got the reaction time. He can get away from stuff just with the turn of his head. We saw Flores this very weekend. The same card as Benavidez versus Benavidez versus Zerto. We saw Flores doing a imitation of Canelo. We legit saw Flores do it at one. I think it was at 154. Was he at 154 or 160? Yeah, I think it was at 154. At 154, we saw Flores do a Canelo-esque performance. He did. In this case, with his hands down, but a Canelo-esque performance of a semblance of what Canelo used to look like back in the day. That's all. That's the thing. And I know Canelo can, if he can do that, I know Canelo can at least apply some of that to his game again. And that's all I want to see. Let me see. When has Canelo beat an elite fighter in his prime? I mean, we can go, the amount of names that he's faced off against, it kind of like, I think we've addressed this before. He's lost to Floyd Mayweather's shirt when he was young. He lost to Bebo when he moved up a second time to 175. And then he lost to Terrence Crawford. Understand him. The three big losses against incredible people. Mind you, these are incredible fighters that he lost to. That's it. Outside of that, he's had a litany of Hall of Famers and up-and-comers that when he was coming up to the tops of the division, he beat them and took their spot. And then when he was the man and people were in their prime fighting him, he beat them. Y'all forget Billy Joe Saunders was an incredible talent that before that fight, nobody was saying he was out of his prime. When Canelo broke his orbital bone and took his belt and stopped him, at that point in time, that was the crowning moment for Canelo at 168 of, oh shoot, he actually did it. He beat the man that was running this division. He beat one of the best pure boxers in this division when there was no signs of slowing down for Billy Joe. To my knowledge, he's been at 154 and specifically 160. He beat Gennady Golovkin twice. Controversial wins because they was both incredibly tight one way or another. But he definitively beat Gennady Golovkin at least one time. He got him once, legit. Second time, it's debatable only because that fight was so 50-50. I believe Gennady won one of those fights in the first two. But cumulatively, Canelo beat him 3 times. And definitively, he beat him twice. The third time was at 168 when Gennady Golovkin was old, understandable. But in his prime, he got him and he fought him twice. And yet, he lost to Floyd, but he fought Floyd when he was moving. When he was accelerating up. And he could have not have fought him, but he did. We've always touted Canelo as a person who up until recent years with David Benavidez, he had not ducked or avoided competition throughout the whole of divisions. He hadn't. Before Terrence Crawford knocked out Amir Khan, he knocked out Amir Khan. He beat Lara. He beat Trout. These are good names. These are not bad names on his resume. He's beaten elite guys over the course of his entire career. It's just the fact that we got to see him now come back and really, like, if he loses against these guys now, we understand because he's older. But if he loses because of a lack of adding to his game, or rather getting back to what he used to be able to do in some level of capacity, because we're saying he's got to change, we're saying he's got to grow, we're saying something's got to shift. This is the shift. Go back to your old self in some capacity. Take some of what you can apply from the older days of 160 and the early days of 168. Take what you can and put that in your newfound body. Because there's still some stuff that can translate into a current day Canelo. But if he doesn't do that, we're going to get these type situations where the losses still ain't going to be a bunch of people that beats him. But it's going to be a lot more possible for people to beat him if he doesn't improve like he needs to improve. Maybe he can dominate one more time. I would hope so. Canelo looks good versus stationary fighters. His best style is people that stand in front of him. understand. For Boots, it's the same thing. Boots looked vulnerable against Sugar Sean. He looked vulnerable. He looked really vulnerable against Sugar Sean. And movers are people that he don't like. But he is against Stanionis, against Ramon Villa. He looks great. Again, I'm not saying this as a knock. I'm not saying it as a jab. I'm saying that's the perfect style for them. Stand and bang. I'm here, you're here. I don't got to find you. I just got to fight you. That's what he loves to do. So yeah. But he's shown also, if you are a mover, like Caleb Plant. When Caleb Plant was at that point in time one of the top fighters in 168, he beat him there too. And so, now I think Caleb Plant only lost once up until that point in that fight. And he was beating him for the first 5 rounds before Canelo used what he learned from Floyd and broke him down. And finally got around that Philly shell and then took him out. So, like, that's why we're saying he just needs to go back. But let me see. There's no details out. It's not true. Oh, you talking about what is it? You talking about the Devin Haney situation? The $100 million man? You talking about a $100 million man? Edwin, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on the live stream today. Like I said, we're still in the championship rounds. We can still talk about anything and everything under the sun. Now, I will give full disclosure. We may have to cut this show a little bit short. I'm not feeling as best as I would like to. So I might have to take a little bit of a rest. So we can't go 3 hours and 55 minutes like we did the last 2 times. Now, if you all do get some super chats and or send some money, hey, we can extend this show out for longer. Oh, yes, we can go for days if we want to. But we're going to try to keep it in the normal flow of this show and try not to go almost 2 hours over. We're going to attempt to try to make it so we 2:30, 2:15. We're going to try to wrap it up this time. But if the show goes great, like it's been going already, we may just go longer just because. Hey, look, like I said, we ebb and flow with what you all do. We capitulate to the will of the people. And as long as the people keep on liking, keep on sharing the show, keep on liking the stream and subscribing to the channel, we'll keep on accommodating, no question about it. But look, if this is in reference to the Devin Haney deal, like I said, for those of you that may be just tuning in, Devin Haney and his dad, Bill Haney, the father of Devin Haney, told the public via social media that he got his son a $100 million deal boxing. So somehow, some way, we got to see that he's got $100 million backing him. Somebody picked him up allegedly for $100 million. Who? We don't know. Why? We're not sure. Where? We're going to find out. When? Hopefully, prayerfully, within the next couple months, if we go by what Matt Borgerson has been saying as to this is Zuffa who's giving out this deal, and it's possible that we're going to see him fighting under that Zuffa banner, hypothetically. And so, nothing's confirmed, but also this coming out with the talks that we had with Zuffa potentially signing Devin Haney already, we may have to take this with a bigger grain of salt than we may have assumed. And because of that, we got to say, this may be real. It may be. Not trying to, again, like I said, not trying to say it's confirmed. But it may be real. And if it is real, this is a huge shakeup. Also, this is a great opportunity to put out a poll to actually ask again, Vasquez, I see you. I'm about to answer your question, but let me put out a poll real quick. Is Devin Haney worth $100 million? I'm going to ask the public. I'm going to ask you all. Because I want to see y'all's responses on this. Because like I said, I'm shocked. I couldn't believe it. This came across my timeline today, and I ended up liking a bunch of other clips and or posts to make sure that this wasn't real, so I can bring it up on here and scroll through and make sure I catch anything that may be happening that's new? If this is real, like this would be insane. But I put out a poll so we can answer the question: is he worth that kind of money? Is he worth $100 million? Does he deserve it? Should he be getting paid that much? Or if this is Zuffa making this deal, 5 to 6 fight deal, if this is true, and they are the ones that are doing this, is this a bad investment? Is this an egregious overpaying for the likes of Devin Haney? I want to hear your thoughts and responses. But even still, we got more people in the chat. Billy Joe looked really bad. The Canelo fight versus the Argentinian. Billy Joe looked really bad. The Canelo fight versus the Argentinian. Which fighter was it? Which fighter was it? I'm trying to think of what. Billy Joe looked bad. The Canelo fight versus the Argentinian fighter. I'm trying to. Can you re-say this? Because I feel like I'm trying to piece together what is it that you're trying to say. He looked bad in the fight with Canelo, or Billy Joe was an outlier, and Canelo versus the Argentinian fighter you're referencing is the one that shows you that Canelo wasn't that great, or isn't that great, or Billy Joe wasn't great against an Argentinian fighter before this fight with Canelo. If that's what you're saying, clarify if you can so I can make sure I'm on the right track. But as we still go through, before I keep on continuing, because we're still in the championship rounds, we do want to make sure we keep on covering the world of boxing. There is another clip about the whole situation. Speaking of Devin Haney and Ennis were scheduled to fight against each other in a potential clash of the Titans at 152. We had covered that on the show, and then we got to see that fight fall through. We now get to hear Ennis give his thoughts or give his side of the story as to why that fight didn't happen between the likes of himself and Devin Haney when they were going to fight at a catchweight at 152, potentially for the titles at hand. But I'll let him tell you exactly what went down so you can infer for yourself what the truth is. As we bring it up, unmute and let it play.
He said I called and they had to fight for 52 or something like that. I called him to fight at 52 or something like that.
Did he say that on our show? I know he was saying who.
I don't know.
He was saying who's Boots though. On our show he said who Boots, but I don't think he mentioned a weight though. But what do you
I
think?
I heard him say something about I offered to fight at 52. That's not what happened. After I had decided to move up, after everything was going on, I decided to move up and move to 54. We get a call back a couple of days later. He like me and my team. They like, yo, would you fight Devin at 152? I said, yeah. I'm like, I ain't fighting 54 yet. I can make 52. Like, I'm like, yeah, why not? I'm like, yeah, we never heard nothing back after that. And that's another thing. People be painting these false narratives and saying that I ducked this person. How I ducked him? Right. I said, yeah. But y'all don't know that because y'all don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
So do you think that people sometimes these fighters will say that just to create that narrative that he didn't want to fight me?
That, and I think people be using I think people be using my name because they know they think I'm not gonna say nothing. But now I feel like they're gonna watch themselves. So
yeah, now you're gonna start saying what you feel.
Bro,
anybody you want to air out?
I see them. I see them.
See, you still quiet.
Yeah, I'm quiet because I don't really be trying to talk to them. That's really ain't me. But like, they crazy. I'm telling you, they crazy.
Look, obviously your name was attached to Virgil in that fight, supposedly.
And so, as you can see, that's his side of the story. Because I remember Devin Haney was potentially going to fight T.O. And then he was also going to fight potentially Boots. I think there was an offer on the table for Boots and Haney to fight against each other. And I think it was for $10 million. I think it was allegedly $10 million that fight was going to be for ultimately. If I got my stuff correct. Again, if I'm wrong, please enlighten me. Either way, it was a pretty decent chunk of change that was on the docket for Haney and Boots to have happen, and that fight ultimately fell through. And I think it could have happened either before, during, or directly after the fight with in New York. It might have been during. Either way, regardless of which, this now paints a better picture as to why that fight didn't happen. Because apparently Boots said yeah, and then they didn't hear nothing back. Now, if this is real, and since Boots is at 154, if he stays there long enough, there's an opportunity that Devin Haney may be going up there too. There is. It's not a whole bunch of work at 147. You got Ryan Garcia. You got Rolly Romero. Of the big names, that's about it. You already beat Brian Noma Jr. You already a champion. This point in time, it may just be handle your business, get at least one of those two fights going, and then you dip. And now you move up. Because now there's a lot of volatility and a lot of money at 154, and you can't fight up to 154 unless you're going to take a fight with Shakur at 147. Catch with 144 hypothetically. Regardless of which, it can take place. Because of that, there may be time for that fight to actually still happen. But if it does, I would love to ask the public, who do y'all think would win that fight now? With how Devin Haney looks right now, with Boots' fight, there was only one fight at 154 against Lima. If that fight was able to happen now, who would you have winning at this stage in their career? Because if this deal for $100 million that we're talking about with Devin Haney is real, that fight may not be a pipe dream. If this fight deal is real. Because there's no way, and I mean no way, that he's signing a fight deal for that much money and potentially, again, allegedly, 5 to 6 fights. Again, allegedly. And we don't get at least 3 of those 5 fights being big time names and Boots isn't involved. There's no way. There's no way. In my opinion, there's no way. There's no way. It would have to be. That Boots is in there somewhere, as we may get that fight at a catchweight at 152 still. If Devin Haney doesn't want to go all the way up there. And if he's still a champion, maybe to take all the belts in multiple divisions. Maybe so. Maybe. But we got to start asking this, because this may actually happen. Boots, Devin Haney, who would you have winning? Right now, before they get shut out, I think I'd have Devin Haney getting knocked out by Boots. I would. I know. Devin Haney's in the pound for pound. Devin Haney's at the cream of the crop. Devin Haney is all this in the bag of chips. We understand. One loss got turned over to no contest because Ryan Garcia cheated. All that stuff is real. Fine. Absolutely. Deserves to be pound for pound right now. But if Devin Haney ever fought against Boots Ennis in the confines of this deal, I guarantee you Devin Haney would get knocked out. It wouldn't be close. It wouldn't be close.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems here.
It wouldn't be close.
We got some problems here.
It would not be close in the slightest. It would be so one-sided. And maybe that's why we didn't get that fight initially. Even though it was offered that Boots could have fought Devin Haney. Because Devin Haney knows he can't beat him. Devin Haney may just know. His father may just know. That's the one guy we just can't beat. That's the one guy, if we can stay away, we will stay away. Yeah, we got Shakur, we got Ryan Garcia. Absolutely, we got fights that we can make. But if we ever get to a point that we have to fight him, we're gonna try everything in our power not to. And this is me saying that, knowing that Devin Haney has not been one to duck competition in his career. This is me knowing that Devin Haney is somebody who has not shifted his perception of taking on big time tests. This is me being one of the biggest people that have defended Devin Haney, saying that this man will not let his foot off the gas when it comes to trying to achieve greatness against the best competition out there. He will sign on the dotted line. He will make the fights. He'll get stuff going. All of that I've said about Devin Haney, still believe, except for that fight. That's the only one that I think if there was any fight that he would legit run from, that his dad would try to not make, it'll be that one. It'll be that one. And it's a shame. It's a shame. And I say it's a shame, not that it's a shame on their part. It's a shame that Boots, like he said in the interview, it's a shame that Boots likes to be quiet. It's a shame that he doesn't like to make a bunch of noise. It's a shame that, yeah, he goes about his business, gets his stuff done, all that stuff. He's now finally actually committing to, pushing the pace in his career. But it's a shame that he really doesn't talk a lot or as much as we've seen other people talk. Because he could put some real pressure on Devin Haney to make a fight happen. Because I'm telling you right now, people were already saying in this very chat when I made my pound for pound top 10 that Devin Haney shouldn't be in the top 10. There were people that were saying it. There were. I remember. Y'all were here. Some of y'all are here right now. Some of y'all are here right now. Some of y'all are here right now. And when I made that list, y'all were like, that should not be possible. He is not a top 10 level fighter. Which, again, your prerogative, I understand. I get the arguments and I get the debate. There is a lot of dissension, though, with that type of ranking. Because of that, people are so quick to put Boots up there. Well, if Boots was talking, really talking, and saying you already avoided me, and if I ever get up to you, or if you ever get up to me, I'll beat the brakes off you. He could talk with a level of position that could put some heat on Devin Haney. And really test that mentality of, I fight anybody, anywhere. The fans will start calling for it. They'll really start calling for it. You'll see fans all of a sudden saying, hey man, yeah, throw him in there. We said he beat Tank. We ain't gonna stutter. He'll beat Boots too. He'll box the mess out of him. Come on. Let him go. Turn him loose. And Boots fans will come out and saying, yeah, you've been talking big and bad all this time. You've been saying all this stuff. You're the face of boxing. You're making all this money. Allegedly. You've been saying that you are about that smoke. Perfectly fine. You throw shots at people. You do all that stuff. Your dad talks all this much. If you really about that, go fight Boots. They'll put pressure on you. And then the monetary value of, hey, promoters start seeing me being a big star, you being a big star, all of a sudden, we can do business with this. We can do business with this. Green light to go. We'll see what Devin Haney says. And if he ducks him again, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. But I do hope one day we get to see that fight. Because if we see that fight, the fans will get exactly what they've been wanting for those who don't like Devin Haney. If we get that fight, it'll be the very thing you've been asking for. For Devin Haney to get his butt whooped by somebody and get knocked out clean without any controversy. I'm not saying that as a hater. I'm saying that as there's a lot of people that don't like Devin Haney, period. So them seeing Devin Haney beat by a fighter that they love to see fight in a manner that is legit, potentially shocking. In the same way that we saw Zerto and Ramirez, that wheel of Boots becoming the global star that y'all say he wants to be, it'll check that box. People getting the satisfaction watching Devin Haney lose clean. If they don't like Devin Haney, it'll check that box. People saying that Devin Haney shouldn't be in the same limelight because they're tired of him always being in the news because he's a boring fighter, it'll check that box. So I'm posing this as to why this would be a viable thing. The negative publicity of Devin Haney would be one of the biggest selling points as to why people would want to see this fight. It's the Floyd Mayweather blueprint. You're the villain. People don't like you. People want to see you lose. Hence, Put him in the ring. Put somebody in the ring that you think that can beat me, and I'll take him out. That's the thing. And now, with this out in the air, and with them being so close in quarters with each other, we may actually be able to see it. And if we do get to see it, hey, I would love it. I would love it. Also, let me go back and look at the poll of what you all have been saying on this vote. And we got 71% of people saying Devin Haney is not worth $100 million of a contract. Well, that's how I feel. Thank God. Thank goodness. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was insane. I thought I was insane. I thought I was the one that was looking ridiculous. Thinking that I was missing something about him being worth this potential value in revenue. Thank gosh I'm not. So that's why, again, the question lies, why is this even an option? Are we just seeing Bill Haney throw smoke, blow smoke, get some stuff out to make everybody talk about Devin Haney? Or is this a legit something that's getting ready to go down? And again, like Meg Borgerson said, Zuffa coming out and saying stuff may shake. Maybe. And if it is Zuffa that's doing this, I think it's going to be a bad situation, man. I really do think if they're paying out this money, it's going to backfire. I think it's going to backfire. I really do. Also, let me see. Oh, Mr. Miyagi, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our live stream today. Salute to you. How you doing? Good to see you. Like I said, it's Friday afternoon. We doing the championship rounds. The whole of this show is driven by you, the populace, all around the globe. You, whatever conversation you want to have, NBA, NFL, movie, sports, television, all that stuff, we can discuss it. Now, we are going to go a little bit shorter today. We're not going to go to the same 3 hours that we went through last time, unless y'all keep on being active, because I'm not feeling as good as I was the first 2 days. I might have to take a little bit of a rest. But even still, we're going to go as hard as we can up as close as we can to normal time, about 2:15, 2:30, the 2 hours, 15 minutes, of how we're going to go about this show. Just about. But even still, we want to hear your thoughts and responses. We thank you for the €5 super chat on our stream. Absolutely. And let me see what you got to say. Jean-Luc, the man, the myth, the growing boxing podcast. And the best words on the YouTube streets. What's good, Chip? Hey, man, look, I appreciate you. It's kind words. Very kind words. I'm trying to be the best I can. Absolutely. There's people better than me. I'm just trying to get my little foot in the door. And we're trying to be beyond just the boxing world. Are we trying to go global? We can talk basketball. We can talk NFL. We can talk fan bases all across the globe. Just something, but soccer, I can somewhat do. Not really all that much hockey. I ain't got no clue about tennis. I ain't got no clue about, but those three sports, oh yeah. Well, I got you. I can be your encyclopedia. I can be your debate. I can be your Nostradamus to some degree. No, I might be wrong on some of these. Might be wrong on some of them. But even so, I can give you the best. I can try to at least be a voice of, if not reason, at least a voice of fun to have you talking about a lot of this stuff surrounding the boxing world and the sports landscape. But we got so much stuff to discuss, and I appreciate the kind words on your or with your chat. Absolutely. And please, if you enjoy this show, keep on liking the stream and sharing it with everybody all across the globe, and keep on supporting and telling people about this channel, because one like makes a world of difference. No question about it. Let me see. Do you see any upsets this weekend? I don't see many upsets happening this weekend in fighting. Now for me, I feel the upset is, well, I said my upset is Dubois versus Wardley. Because initially, talking about this fight when it first got made, I was concerned that Dubois was going to be the one to get knocked out. But ultimately, I'm saying I think that we're going to see Dubois do the knocking out of Fabio Wardley because of the aspects of Wardley's gas tank potentially waning if the fight goes late and we don't see the one-hitter quitter be able to land inside the pocket when it comes to pressure on the ropes, where Wardley ends up a lot when you get past round 7. Dubois, he's a killer. He may not be the best skilled fighter, neither is Wardley, but on that position, he's a killer. Unlike the majority of people that we've seen Fabio Wardley face. The only other person that's been able to work on the ropes in terms of when Wardley's back is to the ropes and Wardley can't have any success fighting them off of him. And he's got to stay there, especially when his legs get tired, was Justice Haney. And if Justice Haney had more power, Fabio Wardley would have gone to sleep. Now, credit to his chin. Absolutely, but he got outboxed, outworked, and outshined on the ropes for nearly after round 5. And he couldn't do a thing about it. So Dubois, he's not as technical, slipping punches, getting under shots, rolling, and landing uppercuts, being able to go and throw combinations while walking forward and being evasive. Wardley is not that aspect of Haney. But Wardley on the ropes, once he gets you there, he's a drastic killer. He's a drastic killer. Mind you, this is the same brother who knocked out Jarrell Miller. Now, Jarrell Miller's not a phenomenal fighter. But the one thing Jarrell Miller's got is stamina and a chin. Even post PEDs, you still can't knock that brother out. And Dubois knocked him out. He rocked him, stunned him, and beat him at his own war of attrition. That's something that, Wardley ain't faced off against somebody like that. Wardley has not faced off against, when Dubois was hurt against one of the best killers and finishers in the game in Anthony Joshua, not only was he able to stay calm and recover, while he was still hurt, he knocked out Anthony Joshua. When Joshua was throwing heavy leather with Dubois back to the corner with nowhere to go. There's a level of poise that we have within the pocket that Dubois has gone under the radar with to some degree, to a big degree. That has people and for people, they think Wardley, because that aggressive style, that overwhelming windmill offense, again, the modern day Deontay Wilder, or the UK version of Deontay Wilder, excuse me, because Deontay Wilder's still living. But the UK version of Wilder, he's gonna land something. He's gonna do what he did to Frazier Clark. Dubois is built for Wardley. Well, it could be the other way around. And for me, that's an upset because of what I said about that fight initially. But for everybody else, that might not be an upset. And Dubois might be the favorite for them. I'm not sure what the odds are specifically, so I can't say for certain. But I don't see any huge, if any, upsets really happening this weekend. Which is outside of that fight with Wardley, which again I think is my personal upset, but for everybody else might just be mundane. Let me see. Actually, let me look up let me, before I even continue, let me make sure I'm not missing out, because there may be a fight I'm forgetting that is getting ready to happen this weekend, and I'm just not seeing it. And so, yeah, Walter Dubois, Usyk Rico's on the 23rd. Bill was coming back on the 30th. Vargas and Belke, that's June. So today, I don't see a whole bunch of upsets. I'm not going to lie. Dave Morrell, I think, is going to win against Zach. That's the only one that was like, we saw him at 154 when he fought against, it was Kayavat, the brother that looks like the brother that looks like the literal brother of Artem Beterbiev when he should have lost that fight. That's the one I was like, maybe he's not as good as people have been saying at this division. So he may lose his next bout, but I don't think he's losing to Zach Chelly. I don't think he's losing that. Mike Perez, Bobby Flood, Nathan Darby, Isaiah Hamilton, Connor. I'm not seeing a whole bunch of upsets that's going to be like, oh my gosh, the favorite guy ain't going to win. At least for me. I think the biggest fight is just that weekend of action. That fight. Because I'm really concerned with that heavyweight fight. I'm really concerned. Because that fight is going to dictate potentially what happens next with either Usyk or anybody else, or potentially in a time of positioning for a title. Let me see. Angelo Leo versus Rashid Aleem. Yeah, I have Leo beating Aleem as the champion. Now that's interesting because again, that's at 120. That's at 126. That's a shakeup because that's why it's important because of what can potentially come down the line. With Inoue, because honestly, that whole division to some degree is getting held up because a lot of people waiting on Inoue to move up here. So that's the only other frustrating thing. But Aleem, we've been talking about Aleem for a mighty long time. Is Aleem really ready to beat the likes of Angelo Lee? I'm just not fully bought in that he's at that position yet. But I love him as a fighter. That's why I'm picking Angelo to win. But shoot, if there's an upset that could happen, it would be that fight more than any fight. Even though I would pick Leo to win. Man, see, now you got me thinking about it. See, dang it. Now you got me thinking about it. Man. Now you got me thinking. Ooh. My whole thing is Aleem has been getting up to the championship level. I've been very excited to watch him grow and continue to win and continue to look really, really good. But to actually, I don't think I ever crossed that threshold of, okay, he's ready yet to take the brass ring. But in by next year or by the end of this year, he would be. That's the only reason why I'm saying Angelo wins. I think that I have been the biggest thing with Aleem. My thought process was after this year, he's gonna be ready to take a title from at least 2 of the 4 champions at 126. At least 2. I just don't know if this is too early. I just don't. But by too early, I mean for my timetable. But if he's ready now and he does it, I mean, shoot. Hey, it is what it is. He's got it. And he becomes a champion. I'm not, and this sounds like I'm saying he's not ready for a title. He is in title position. He is deserving to be in this spot. Yeah, you should be in the same mix of names as Bruce Carrington, Espinoza, Brandon Figueroa, and Angelo Lee. You should be there. I'm not diminishing his position. I was saying my statute for being able to ultimately say, okay, boom, I'm fully confident he can beat Angelo Lee or Brandon Figueroa was going to come if he had one more fight before this. But that was just me. But he didn't think of it now. I hope he does win. And it's not because I'm hating on Angelo Lee. It's because that would be a good breath of fresh air for this division. That if we're looking for it in a way to come up here, because a lot of people up here are waiting on him. Nick Ball waited him out. We had Rafael Espinoza being talked about left, right, and center. Bruce Shoo Carrington continues to call out the likes of Inoue instead of the other champions. There's a little bit of stagnation against each other because everybody wants a viable shot at the biggest payday in their careers. But I don't think Aleem's moving like that. And because of that, he can actually go and move like this division has been needing to move. That's why I want him to have a shot at the title. That's me. That's me. That's why I want him to get this, and I would love him to win. Let me see. Turkey should stop focusing on fighters above 135. It is honestly a waste of time. I think he should pour more money into 126 and 130 to get a tournament to try to crown two kings. That's a good idea. It will cost less and will be a good year of interesting fights with all the champs and top 4 contenders. Aleem is getting old. It's really his last chance. How old is Aleem? Let me look up his age again to make sure I got it correct. Let me see. Aleem. Not David Allen. What the world? Why is he pulling up David Allen? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me try this again. Let me try this one more time. My gosh. I don't know what's going to... Google, please. Google, come on. Don't fail me now. Don't mess me up now. Don't mess me up now, please. Okay. Ooh, okay, so you're right. He is 35. He is 35. He is 35 years old. If he doesn't win now, it may not be never. That's true. That is true. I got it. I knew what I was gonna say. Aleem is 35 years old. Miyagi, you're absolutely right. This is his last shot to win the title. Absolutely. If he doesn't win it here, most likely he's gonna be out. I want him to win because I think he will be more pressed to push the division into trying to actually get fights going because he is 35. Now, still strong and all that stuff, but I'm sick of the current landscape of 126. Everybody just kind of sitting on their hands to some degree. Everybody just lying and wait. Everybody just kind of waiting on. Yeah, I get it. It's a business. It's a money game. But everybody isn't really moving to push the envelope of who's the real king to try to answer it. It could be that Aleem comes in. If he beats Angelo, hey, but I'm calling everybody out. I ain't got time to waste. We got to move. We got to work. I got to get my money while I can, while I got this belt, and that means we unify. Hopefully. Let me see. He may even get an anyway payday if that happens. You never know. He could. I mean, that fight would be even bigger if he went out and beat another champion unified. It would be. Best bet to win might be beating the likes of Brandon Figueroa. If he wins the title and if he beats Lee, his best bet to unify, stay active, get the division to actually start to move, while still keeping him in a position to fight against, but in a way at 126 when he does move up most likely next year. It would be the likes of Brandon Figueroa, in my estimation, as the quote-unquote easiest champion to fight against. But at this point, I just want to see somebody shake up and get in the ring with somebody else who has a belt. I don't care who it is. If that means Aleem's the guy that comes in and makes that shake up happen, well, then so be it. But he getting older, I'm getting older. He's moving through time. I am too. And for this division, the fact that Nick Ball reigned and defended his title, but he never fought Espinoza or anybody else, or at that point in time, Vargas, who was the champion at that point in time, before moving back down, and now fighting anyway at 118. I need to see some action. At this point, Aleem or otherwise, I don't care who it is. Whoever is more likely to force a unification opportunity in this division that should be knockdown, drag out, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Let me see. Bruce could be the goods, but honestly, he has never fought a top 10 fighter or former champion in his career. No, he hasn't. He is not. He faced off against good names. Again, the city, being from Brownsville, being on the undercards of Mike Tyson, having that New York backing, being on the undercard of Shakur, has helped his stock immensely. He has been talked about as a next guy up in this division. And the way that he won on that undercard for Shakur and Tio, yeah, he's got the goods. He's got the goods. There's no doubt in my mind. He is as good as advertised, though his experience hasn't been at the same top tier level. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely true. But still, that experience against that type of elite caliber hasn't taken place yet. It can happen now, and it should happen now. And if Shoo is really about that action, he would go and take that moniker and try to make that action happen as quickly as possible. But if he starts doing the same stuff like we saw Nick Ball do, and he doesn't fight or attempt to fight the other top contenders, well, it's just going to be the same cycle all over again. Because now he got his moment in the sun. He got his title. He's recognized. He's respected. Everybody sees him now. No question. What are you going to do with the spotlight? How do you move? And we got to keep fighters' feet to the fire. We got to keep their feet to the fire when it comes to making sure you got what you wanted. Now keep on fighting like the champion that you are. Because if you don't, you're only messing up the position and holding this whole place stagnant, just like the status quo has been over the last couple years when you were moving up to get a shot at the title. Let me see. Leo versus Lopez, Espinosa versus Ramirez, and Brandon versus Ball. All three have defeated dominant champions. Yeah. And now, Shoo is young. We're not saying this as, oh, it hasn't been anything to prove. Shoo is young. He's one of the younger champions up here in this division. He's one of the young stars below 130 that has people talking. I believe he's, 26? Let me see. Let me check his age real quick. I believe he is 20. Okay, so he's 29. So he's about where he should be. 28, 29 years old. You got a world title. And you are still in the state of 28, 32. You got that year span run of physically, you can now take on the globe at the peak of your powers. So he's there. He's just crossing into the best parts of his career right now, which we love. Again, Boots is 28, 29 years old as well, and is starting to walk into that same sentiment. We are happy that this is happening. Now this is where the experience that those other people have had, you got to garner for yourself. You do. We hope you do. We want you to. We pray that you take that same approach. But again, only time will tell. And if time does tell correct, well, he could be a dominant champion. He could be a three. He's good enough. And it's going to sound crazy. Well, actually, no, it doesn't sound crazy. Excuse me, I got something in my eye real quick. My apologies. But he is good enough that we could see Shoo Carriage and become get 3 of these belts. We could, outside of Espinosa, we could see Shoo get 3 of the 4 major titles. He can beat Brandon Figueroa. He can beat Angelo Lee and or Aleem. Absolutely. I think he can knock out Aleem and or Angelo Lee if they ever fought against each other. And he could beat Figueroa fully in a unanimous decision. He could become a 3 title holding champion, a unified champ that holds all but one of the GOAT. He could get that to that level. The biggest obstacle would be Espinoza. Can you fight somebody that's 6'1"? That's the thing. It's the Fundora conundrum all over again. But outside of that, he's that good. He is that good. And I would hope we get to see that because even without that experience, he's a dog like that. He really is. Listen, when should a fighter start their title run, in your opinion? So, it depends on the development of the fighter. It depends. And let me read your chat, and I'll go back and answer it again in this. But it depends. Oh, gosh, hold on. Wait, that stuff is messing up. Hold on. Let me read this, and I'll go back and do your thing. I think Shushu can stop Espinoza, but Brandon, if Shushu can't hurt him, he will get stopped because Castro fight wasn't even close when Brandon stopped him. Ooh. That is true. But I think I think the Espinoza can get stopped if you're able to reach that height. Understandable. And Shushu, I don't think it's as likely, but I think it's possible. Yeah, he could do it. I think he's more likely to stop Brandon than Espinoza because I think his ability, even though you were saying that if Shushu can't hurt him, he will get stopped. I don't think so. I think he's too skilled in a similar way that we saw Fulton fight Figueroa in the pocket the second time. I think Shushu can do that same level of quality work, but with even more authoritative punching. That's why I think he can beat Brandon even more likely than Espinoza. Because the one thing about Brandon, he will come down to your level. He will give up his height. He will. And the amount of volleys of shots that he throws, he's a great combination puncher. Oh, he's got stamina for days, absolutely. But you can't catch him in between. And I think Shushu was very much good enough to get him in that regard. That's why I think he could actually stop Brandon more than fight and stop Espinoza. To me, but again, that's my opinion. But I see where you're coming from and why you say what you say. But in terms of this question right here, when should a fighter start their title run? To answer this, or rather, let me go. Hold on. Shushu likes planting his feet, but after his combinations, he has a habit of pausing for some reason. And he was getting tagged by Castro. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of. I think he does admire his work a little too much. Like Shakur admires his work after he lands something clean, oohing and on and all that stuff. But Shushu does it in an even more egregious sense. So he does have to fix that. That is problematic. I ain't got no problem with you planting your feet and being able to fight and operate without needing to move drastically back and forth or left and right. I get it. I'm fine with that. That's his style. And he wants to put some pain on you. So I get why. If he fixes that aspect though, okay, it's a little bit better. It's that does need to change. And against Brandon doing that, yeah, you can get messed up. It's starting to click more why you say he can get stopped by Brandon. It's starting to click more why you say he can get stopped by Brandon. If that habit hasn't died off, yeah, that can be bad. If that habit has not gone away, that can be that can be problematic. That can be really problematic. But let me answer this for the title run. When a fighter should start their title run, as you put in the chat, It should come depending on the fighter's development. By age 30, max, is when you should really start gunning for it. As in, all right, I gotta start I have to push the envelope now. We gotta make a run. But if we're gonna go by old school, it would be by age 23. It'd be by age 23, 24. You vying for a title. You fighting top 10 contenders. Ali fought Sonny Liston at 23 years old. That's insane. That's ridiculous. The old mongoose, Archie Moore, was a champion formerly at the oldest age of all time at 38, I think it was either 36, 39 years old. But he won championships in his early 20s and reigned. As a charged same situation, or maybe a similar situation. And in the modern day, or in the less modern but still back in the day, but more modern than the early 1900 situations, you had Roy Jones Jr. vying for titles at 25. You had Roy getting in position for championships at 25 years old. I think Sugar Ray was around that same age when we were getting, either he was fully a champion or he was getting in the ring with killers to win titles. In fact, how old was he when he fought against Duran? Versus Duran age. Roberto Duran was 29 years old. The greatest lightweight in boxing history. And he had a record of 71-1 at that time. Had already been reigning as a champion. Sugar Ray Leonard was 24 years old when he fought the first fight with Roberto Duran. 24. He was the same age as Bam Rodriguez is now. He was 1 year older than Xander Zayas, fighting Hands of Stone Roberto Duran, the greatest lightweight in boxing history. Are you kidding me? I didn't even know that. Oh, shoot. I knew he was young. I didn't know he was that young. But, like, if your talent is up to that level of par, where you are elite, I'm not saying you got to be Sugar Ray Leonard, but if you're at the elite level and status, yeah, you should be pushing to get championships earlier. That's why I'm glad Abdullah Mason is working to get titles and already got a title. And he's the youngest champion in boxing right now. That's why I love that Xander Zayas went ahead and I'm getting championships now. Early 20s, 25 is when I want people to start going after championships. That's when I want people to really start pushing the pace and saying, all right, it's time for me to go really work. It's time for me to go to go put some risk on the table. I built myself up and now it's time to grow and it's time to flourish. The latest is 30. The latest should be 30. But everything else, yeah, you doggone right, it better be you pushing the envelope. That's why, Shakur won his first title at Shakur age of first title. Good gosh. Dang it. Come on now. Age at Shakur won his first title against Joey Gonzalez at 22 years old. The early 20s are a threshold to get to vie for championships already. Here's the thing that people don't understand about development. Not saying you don't, but this is the misconception. Commonly, yeah, 25, 26 is about when you really start pushing. But you really don't have to wait to vie for championship opportunities. You can go after stuff if you're like that. Like if you are a good fighter, legitimately a good fighter, like we talk about with these other elite fighters, you can get the title between the ages of 21 and 24. You don't have to wait around to position yourself. If you really move, you don't have to wait around to say, I got to build myself up. You can still build yourself up, but you can get there quick if you really want to. But the common thing is people are trying to, I don't want to say overdevelop, but they're trying to overprotect the asset of what their fighter is because they don't want them to lose early. But the issue is these same fighters could get titles at this same age that you're trying to hold them back. Tank could have been a champion earlier than he was. Tank could have gotten more titles quicker than he did. And Tank could have been greater before he was 30 than with his greatness, than be what his greatness is right now when he is 30. Anyway, won his title in the 6th fight. Lomachenko had a deep amateur pedigree. Yeah, he was older, but in 4 fights, he became a titleist. You don't have to wait around to become a champion. You don't have to be 28 to become a champion. You don't have to be 29 or 27. You can be 24. You can be 21, 22. But it ultimately depends on the development of the fighter and the skill for how quick you can push the pace. But for most, 25 to 26 should be when you're getting a title shot or you're trying to position yourself for a championship. It should be there. It shouldn't be that you wait until you're 30 to get it. It's different if you just don't get the opportunity. You shouldn't be waiting until 30 or something like that to get to that point. That's what's frustrating. But let me see. Aleem. Oh no. Are you serious? Are you serious? Aleem, he did not. He did not. Not again. Not again. Hold on. No. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way he did it. There's no way he missed weight. He missed weight for a second time? How? 128 pounds. Brother. Oh my gosh, man. Oh no. Wait, so that means that he's out of a title shot. He's just fighting for the win. If that fight even happens at all. Let me look this up. And now the fight may be off. Hold on. Let me look this up. Hold on a minute. Yep. It happened. Yep. Fight's off in a shocking turn of events. Angeli's IBF featherweight defense against Rais Aleem is off after Aleem came 2.8 pounds over the 126 limit.
Hey, look at this! We got some problems here!
Oh no! Oh gosh! So it's just not happening at all. It's just done completely. He lost out on his purse. He lost out on the fight. He lost out on a title opportunity. My boy, I'd be hot. I'd be hot. And this might be one of his last opportunities to get a shot at the title. Unless he goes absolutely perfect for the rest of his career, he most likely ain't gonna get a title shot again. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's terrible. Dang, that's the shoot. That is frustrating. My gosh. Well, I don't mean to sound unforgiving I really don't. It's a terrible situation, but my gosh, them's the breaks, man. Them's the breaks, sadly, and that's horrible. That's just terrible. Let me see. This is why Japan forces you to move up in weight or move up if you miss. Yep. They make you move up if you miss divisions, and you can never go back down. That's why it's insane. In a way, moved up the way that he did without ever having to relinquish a belt because he couldn't make the weight. That discipline is insane. That's ridiculous. But hey, if you applied that to the rest of boxing, I'm going to tell you right now, it would breed a whole lot of better fights because it would force everybody to fight where they're supposed to fight weight-wise. It would force everybody, if you can make the weight, great. But if you can't, you better move up to where you know you can, or you're going to miss out on opportunities and miss out on money, and you can never come back down. If your biggest cash cow fight is down here, you better hope that you make sure that you're disciplined as can be. Because if it messes up, you can never come back. So if they apply that to all of boxing, yeah, I think it would help out immensely to help people get weight bullying that people claim that happens out the sport. And make it so we get better prime for prime, fully flushed out level fights with fighters that aren't weight drained, dead in the eyes, concerned about can they even step into the ring. And we get you fighting people that are indeed your size. And for the best safety of both. So I get it. I like the rule. And I wish they applied it more. That should be something that comes through, or at least like if you miss weight twice, you're done. Give a little bit of leniency. Because sometimes things just happen. We get it. But bring it over to the States or bring it over to the greatest landscape of boxing. Make it so that you miss weight twice, then you go and you can't fight no more. Let me see. Could have seen David versus Prime Better BF and B-Ball at 175 when he first missed weight. Yeah. Wait, did Better BF miss weight? Or Benavidez? Did Benavidez? I don't think Benavidez ever missed weight, did he? Was that why that fight didn't happen? Could have seen David versus Prime Better BF and B-Ball at 175. When he, okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. He did miss weight at 168. If we had that rule in place globally, we could have seen him be forced to move up to 175 and fight B-Ball and Better BF when Better BF was under 40. Crazy enough. And B-Ball was even further into his prime before the back injuries. And we still could have gotten that fight with Benavidez and Canelo because Canelo ultimately did move up to fight at 175 during that tenure that Benavidez would have been at 175 at that point in time. So yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. David did miss weight. I had to think, but you're right. David did miss weight at 168. And if this rule did apply, we could have seen all those fights at 175 way early. We could. You're right. You are absolutely right about that. No question about it. Let me see. Ramon Vasquez, Angelo Lee is tough, but no one is stopping Espinoza. Where Angelo Lee ain't fighting no more, which is a shame. So now, I mean, I would love to see them fight against each other. I would love to have that question answered with the both of them. Issue is, them fighting, I just don't know if we actually see it. Because it seems like everybody's waiting on Inoue at this division. Now that Angelo Lee ain't got no fight, I would love to see him try to make a fight with Espinoza, if possible. Can't remember if Espinoza has a fight next, but if he doesn't, see if you can make that happen. If not, or if he does, call him out afterwards. But just make something shake. We should be seeing some unifications around here. That's all I'm saying. Even if he can't beat him, perfectly fine. Make the fight regardless, because we've been wasting too much time. We have been wasting way too much time. Whether he's tall, short, I don't care what height he is. I want to see this division move and get some fights going. And hopefully, as we end off this show, hopefully, we'll get some stuff happening sooner rather than later. But we got to go and we got to get out of here. I'm going to read one last chat and then we're going to go home and I gotta take care of myself a little bit this weekend. We're gonna go and end the show off with a bang. He is a tall task, but he's been put down a few times. But against Ramirez, he had Bambi legs. But he did what a champ does: push through and stop them. So good on his notice. No, he did, and that's why we're saying he's not perfect. He's vulnerable. But because he's shown that he can fight back and fight like a champion should, yeah, it makes it a lot harder to beat him. Because now, even when he's in a dangerous state, he knows how to operate. And that pedigree starts to come out of, I'm gonna find a way to win. So he's a tall order for anybody, let alone for Angelo Lee, let alone for Shushu. And anybody who wants to fight against him. But regardless of what the task is, I want to see the task regardless. And hopefully we'll get that fight sooner rather than later. But look, we got to go. We got to get out of here. We got to end this show off with a bang. And we got to let you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been a phenomenal show. And with all of that being said, we about to go. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Like I said, we ain't going as long as we did the last 2 days. I got to take care of myself. Kind of feeling a little bit bad, so I gotta go. We gotta, take care of my health to the best way possible. We're gonna be back next week covering the world of boxing and beyond. I'm not gonna be able to live stream these fights that happen on this weekend. We'll definitely be able to talk about them on Tuesday afternoon, same time, same place, same channel on today's show. We thank you to everybody who came in and supported the channel monetarily or just with your presence in the chat. We appreciate you, and with all the love and support, please keep on liking the stream and sharing the show before you get on out of here. And one like helps a world of difference to our stream. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure you're part of this empire. Come join this army of a community. If you haven't already, hit the notification bell. And please, if you can support the channel, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, as well as super chats, super gifts, stickers, and the like. If you can afford to support this channel monetarily, it would mean the world to me. Helps me pay some bills and also helps us to go through and make this show bigger, better, and stronger for your viewing and listening pleasure as we reinvest into your entertainment and fun. But we can't wait to see you all next week. We're going to be back for more boxing, more talk, more conversation, and more enthralling entertainment and surrounding the debate and discussion of the boxing world and beyond. But I've been Jean-Luc Welch. You all have been absolutely wonderful. Peace and love. We are out of here. Yes, sir. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace and love. Salute to you. And we gonna catch y'all on the next one on Tuesday afternoon. Can't wait to see y'all there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we are out of here.